Hi, I'm Suzanne Rias. I'm with Journeys Hypnosis, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about what a hypnosis session is like with me. After you book your session, you'll receive a confirmation email, and that email will have a lot of information in it. So I encourage you to look through all of it. But just as a reminder, here are a few of the highlights. You'll be required to complete your intake forms, and those are due about 3 days prior to your appointment. And I find that it's really helpful for you to put lots of detail in those intake forms and focus on one specific issue rather than a big, broad issue. This will help me best prepare and have questions for you when you come in. What is trance video? That will be posted in that email. And I think it's really important for you to have a clear understanding of what trance really is because so many people get sidetracked or distracted by the Hollywood version of hypnosis, which feels like you're supposed to be asleep and somebody's doing something to you. And that is absolutely not what a session with me will be like. It's actually quite interactive, and the hypnotic trance is really a state of deep focus where you're focused inward and able to create change by working with your subconscious. And there's more detail in the video that I have on my YouTube channel, so be sure to watch that before you come in. Um, Open up your mind to the possibilities. Any expectations that you have will simply just distract you when you come into session. So just be open to whatever comes. I am really good at what I do, and I'll take time to explain things in great detail so that you have a great understanding of what to expect when you come in. Refrain from the use of drugs or alcohol, of course, the day of, but I would recommend even the night before. And this is so that you are feeling pretty healthy and able to focus rather than being distracted or not feeling your best. Some people worry about whether or not to have coffee on the day of. If you need your caffeine, sure, go ahead and have a little bit. But if you know that you get antsy or agitated from having caffeine, I would recommend not doing that. Some people ask about their ADHD meds. I think it can go either way. In my experience, those with ADHD actually do much better than you might imagine because those with ADHD actually are able to hyper focus. So I think whether or not you have your drugs is irrelevant. So you can decide on that. Since you're going to be still, for a little over an hour while we're working together, I recommend having a light meal so that you don't come in hungry. I would like for you to be as comfortable as you possibly can once you sit down. You'll have the opportunity to go to the bathroom before we start, so you've got options to make yourself comfortable. Some people like to wear an eye mask. It's not necessary, but some people prefer it. Maybe it makes them feel a little bit more relaxed or more anonymous. It's fine. I do have disposable masks in my office, but if you'd like your own, that would probably be even better. The only problem with masks are that they keep you from being able to wipe your eyes when you cry, and there do tend to be lots of tears during a hypnosis session. If you're going to have an online appointment, just prepare your space in advance. I've got a slide that's upcoming that will go into more detail about this, and your email also has detail about this. Okay, so that's what you need to know to get yourself ready before coming into the office on the day of your appointment. If your appointment is with me in person at my address at 627 West Lane Street, then be sure you review the instructions on how to find me. So as you can see in this video, there is a house that is the main address, which you'll be directed to by GPS. But my office is actually the little building right next to the house. In this picture, it looks like a shed, but I promise you it's bigger than that. And you're going to meet me at that little shed-like building. I am separate from the main house. The main house has other offices in it. You're welcome to park behind my car in the driveway that you see there in that image, and know that there are bathrooms and water available, but we will be meeting in this side building, so find me there. And then either appointment, whether we meet online or whether we meet in person, will take time to begin just by talking a bit about how hypnosis works. We'll be reviewing your goals, and maybe even giving you a few resources or exercises that you might be able to take with you. So we will have some time to chat before we get started. And so if you come into my office, this is a picture of my office. We'll start by chatting on the blue couch. And then when we're ready to start with hypnosis, you'll move over to the recliner chair. If you're at home, just like in the office, we're going to start off by talking. So you don't need to be reclining yet. And then I'll give you a few minutes to get yourself situated while you move to a reclining position. I know, your mind is busy. Everybody's is. I get it. And most clients that come into my office tell me, I don't know if I can do this. My mind is really busy. I've never been able to meditate for any amount of time. I get it. That's perfectly normal. And just about everybody I work with tells me this. And the good news is yes, you can do this. You're working with me for a reason. And that's because I'm really good at what I do. And I'm going to keep you on track, and I'm going to help you be able to focus inward so that you can do this work. So just dismiss that whole idea of Hollywood hypnosis where you're going to go into a deep, dark trance and somebody's going to control your mind. It's not like that at all. It's so much easier than you realize. We will be working with your imagination, and you've got somebody that's super qualified to help you be able to do this. So take that worry off your list. And then once you're comfortable and relaxed, you recline, you'll close your eyes, you'll get your body situated in a way where you're feeling really comfortable. In my office, I have blankets. The office is a little bit dark. I put in some nice ambient music in the background. The intention is for your body to relax. I know your mind might be a little bit reluctant to do so, but just getting your body to just kind of relax and then giving your thinking mind permission to slow down. So the intended feeling of your mind is something similar to when you're watching a movie, just kind of quieting your thinking mind a bit so that you're able to open up your imagination and just kind of allow whatever's coming. And as I mentioned before, imagination is really, it can be visions, it can be feelings, it can be sensations, it can be just a knowing. But that's how you work with the subconscious. So just kind of whatever is popping into your mind, or the words that want to roll off your tongue, or just the feelings or sensations in your body, that's what we'll be working with. And I'll be asking you a lot of questions. And those questions are meant to help you engage your imagination and stay on track. Those questions are also intended to help you sort of progress through a session. And then, of course, to be able to create the healing or the sensation of resolve or release that you're looking for. So it's a very engaged process. We'll be talking back and forth throughout the entire time that we're working together. When we're working online together, the real difference is just the environment. So in my office, I've got my chair, I've got the music, and I'm sitting close by. At home, you'll want to arrange yourself in a quiet, comfortable place where you'll be undisturbed. So if you've got pets, or kids, or roommates, or partners, or whoever that might be popping in, just let them know that you'll need some quiet. I recommend using headphones with a microphone or Apple AirPods so that my voice is in your ear and so that I can hear you better. Because a lot of people tend to mumble a little bit when they're really relaxed. If you like background music, I recommend it. It's kind of nice, just finding some gentle meditation music on Spotify. In my office, I use solfeggio music. I like the way that it comes out of the speaker, and I don't think that it's very distracting. You can dim the lights, but if you do, just make sure that I can see you still. A lot of times when you dim the lights, or if there's a window on the side of the room, it makes things so dark that I'm unable to see you. So you might want to just kind of play with this before we get online together. You'll want to set your computer or your phone with a camera on a table nearby. So don't try to support it in your hands or on your lap, because that becomes distracting during a session and you want to completely relax. So just kind of get it all set up where we'll be able to see you laying down once we get started. And the best angle of the camera is for me to be able to see your face and your chest. And that gives me the opportunity to see your breathing and to see your face and your reactions. You'll want to have all the notifications turned off on your computer and your phone. And I recommend doing that ahead of time because it sometimes can get overwhelming as we're getting started with everything. So yeah, just make sure that you do all of this in advance, and remember that we're going to talk a little bit before we get started. So you'll first want to be sitting before laying down. And once you're in the reclining position, know that you're not required to be perfectly still. It's okay if you wiggle around, you scratch, or you try to get more comfortable. We're going to be talking throughout the entire session, so you can just let me know if something's coming up. Every once in a while, I have a client that needs to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the session, and that's not a problem. They just get up and go and come right back. So again, kind of dispelling that whole Hollywood version of hypnosis where you're perfectly still and in a deep trance. That's not necessarily the case or what's needed for you to be able to effectively work with hypnosis. Feelings are good. When you experience any sort of emotion during your hypnosis session, that is a great thing. Um, Tears are a form of release. Anger is a form of release. Some people shake a little bit. Some people say that they have feelings or sensations of things moving within their body or shifting. Happiness is great. Laughter is amazing in hypnosis. Whatever you feel, don't feel like you need to suppress it. It's better just to let it come to the surface. You can talk about it with me or just allow it, because you're going to move through a greater sense of release and shift when you finally let go of those emotions that have likely been suppressed for a really long time. And then once we start the session, I will begin to engage your imagination with some questions. And we're going to just be going back and forth throughout that time while we're working together. And all you really need to do is just relax and allow. So don't try to recall memories in the event that we do some sort of regression. That's just going to really inhibit the productivity of your session. Instead of trying to find a memory, just allow it to pop in your mind. It's funny how it works. It'll be just like suddenly you have a little glimmer of your childhood shoe or your childhood bedroom, or maybe a memory suddenly pops in and it's a memory you haven't thought about in a really long time. So just kind of allow whatever's coming. And some people don't even have visuals. It's more of just a feeling, and that is perfectly fine. But the idea is to let your subconscious bring it to your attention rather than your thinking, analytical mind. And the really cool thing about working with your subconscious mind is that it doesn't know the difference between real and imagined, and it doesn't have a sense of time. It always exists in the now. And your subconscious mind is always trying to protect you and keep you alive. All of your subconscious reactions are based on the survival response. And so, in a state of hypnosis, what we're really delving into is trying to convince the subconscious mind that you are okay, and that the subconscious response, whether it be a bad habit or a behavior, or a feeling or a pattern, whatever has been coming up, that it doesn't need to come up anymore because you are okay. And so we'll be working with your senses, with your imagination, with feelings to be able to allow it to get a sense of maybe your younger self receiving care or receiving attention or having emotional needs met that weren't met when the pattern initially originated. So that's really the crux of how the shift or change occurs as a result of hypnosis, is working with the subconscious so that it can change those habits or reactions. You don't go back to work, that you've got some time to recover. I like to tell people it's a little bit like going to get a really good massage and you just feel so amazing and you've done something really good for your body and mind, and then you don't want to jump back into a stressful work environment where things are stressful or tense. And so for the rest of the day, just whatever self-care is for you, that's what's going to be most helpful. Go for a walk outside. That's always healthy. Drink lots of water. Get some rest. The night of your appointment, you'll probably sleep, or the night after your appointment, you'll sleep really well. Avoid any kind of stress or violence or negativity. Like, don't turn on the news or go watch a violent movie or go back into a stressful, you know, challenging environment where things are difficult for you. And I also like to tell people not to give it a story just yet. So allow it to unfold over the next 24 to 48 hours. A lot of times we limit the potential of what hypnosis can be by giving it words. And what I mean by that is that we only have so much vocabulary, and what you'll experience in a hypnosis session is pretty profound and expansive and energetic. And there may not be words to define that. And so just allow it. So I usually tell people don't tell anybody about it yet. Just give it a little time to unfold and do what it's doing. And the beautiful thing is in hypnosis, you're working with the subconscious. And so the changes or the way that the results come up for you really will feel pretty normal. It'll feel like, this is how I've always been, until you're in the face of a trigger or an event that in the past you might have reacted one particular way, and voila, you're suddenly not reacting. And it may require you to actually pay attention and notice, oh, hey, I didn't respond in the way that I typically do. It's really cool. It's so incredibly subtle, and it just will feel like, okay, this is how I've always been. If you feel like issues are still popping up or you're still being triggered, you may need more than one session to completely clear it. Just start to notice the emotions that come up when it is triggered, or notice what the triggers are so we can make sure to completely clear it. It is an amazing way to be able to make change for yourself by working with your subconscious. And so just allow it, trust it. It seems remarkably easy. And how can it be so simple to sit there for, an hour and feel like I was just making stuff up, and then all this profound change happens? But it works. And that's the beautiful part of working with hypnosis. So you should be ready now for your hypnosis appointment. And I can't wait to work with you. Feel free to check out my website, journeyshypnosis.com. You're going to find that there's a lot of great information on the frequently asked questions page. I have lots of information on my YouTube channel. You can check out my reviews, and just be sure you look through all your materials. You're ready, and you can do this, and you're on your way to change. Thanks so much for trusting me with working with you through your issue, and I look forward to seeing you soon.